What if 2026 is the year the old world doesn't fall, but simply runs out of fuel? The coming year of the firehorse ignites suppressed collective forces and pushes survival systems past their breaking points. False contracts burn, power structures exhaust themselves. Then, in 2027, the cross of the sleeping phoenix begins, a new era where authority moves from systems and structures into the visceral intelligence of the body. This is the end of survival as the organizing principle and the beginning of aliveness. In this video, I'm going to briefly cover the unprecedented energies of the next 12 months because I've been talking about this for years, but here we are at the cusp of a very important and exciting time in human history. Many of us have been preparing for this for lifetimes. And right now we sit, as of the 11th of February 2026, we sit right at the tail end of the year of the snake in Chinese astrology, which has to deal with the shedding of skin. I know a lot of people, and myself included in 2025, have been really releasing a lot of these old, dense, karmic, collective patterns. And the last year has been a time of internal purging, also bringing in new insights and new information to inspire that shedding of the old skin, because we need to be inspired about the direction that we're moving after all. Otherwise, what's it for? But in just a couple days, on the 17th of February, we're going to be entering the year of the firehorse. In Chinese astrology, the firehorse archetype carries raw propulsion, independence, acceleration, risk, and the refusal to be domesticated by outdated systems. Human design speaks that this energy that will be present to ignite the firehorse sequence on February 17th is in the cross of laws. So this cross really speaks to establishing a new order, a new ordering of rules. And the sun placement here is in gate 60, the gate of what I like to call justice. Typical name is limitations, but justice is the law breaker. Justice comes in and can smash through the laws that we take as immutable, unchangeable. It can break the laws of physics and rewrite them according to a completely new order. Now, which new order do we get? That's the big question, because some people say we're going to have a new world order. And then other people on the spiritual side of things say that there's a new divine order coming into play. I personally believe the result of what we get is up to each one of us. It lives in our hearts. It lives in the communities and the fields that we attune ourselves to, because we have within us the capability of reshaping reality when we take our energy back and we don't place it into external control systems, media distractions, or limitations based on constructs like a socioeconomic system, which really has no basis in natural law after all. And so what this is leading us towards is the smashing down, essentially, of old structures. And what's going to happen is anybody trying to plan or strategize during this period will find that they're met with sheer exhaustion as their strategies fall flat on their face and things just stop working. Any agreements or contracts that are rooted in that old way of doing things will simply not be upheld. Humanity over the next year, as we're already seeing with the release of certain documents, is getting quite enraged and inflamed right now. And that's a good thing on one hand, but people are also pointing the finger. They're still blaming things outside of themselves, as opposed to saying, hey, you know what? The external control systems and people that are in charge of this are corrupt to the bone, the whole world over. And as a result of that, we cannot trust what they say because they are corrupt and they are doing reprehensible things. Therefore, we need to trust something else. And with the cross of the sleeping phoenix, it's a 180-degree departure from reliance on the growth of civilization, committing one's efforts for the benefit of the tribe or the community or the society, and instead taking orders from the visceral life force that wants to run through our bodies. And so things aren't going to look the same way anymore. The morality-based proving our worth through contribution, endurance, or conformity will be gone. This new era frequency reorganizes life around highly individualistic, authentic energy flows that arise in the body. And because this will be propelled by the background frequency of the earth, that this will just start to innately move in people, and people that we thought were asleep will all of a sudden be moving with a new energy. And this can happen fast. It's already been happening. We've been in the build-up period to this for a few decades now, but this is really, really going to step into its peak, not just next year, but in the years after that, when it really sets in on a material level. So where the last era really caused us to bend our integrity to serve the collective, and that's been used against us now, as we saw with things like the pandemic of 2020. It's like, you do this for the greater good of all, but that thing didn't sit right with a lot of people. And so people took matters into their own hands, and they realized the whole thing was being manipulated anyway by forces that were much larger. So the era of being sustained by these obligations, hierarchy, or social consensus is effectively dead come 2027. That doesn't mean that these dramas won't play out. I believe that they will play out for a period of time afterwards, because there's still people that are bought into that. But slowly, as we go over time, more and more people will be moving with this new energy that'll be in the background frequency of the collective. Because the sleeping phoenix has nothing to do with belief systems. It's a visceral awakening through the body, through our breath, through our vitality, our instinct, and the resonance of truth that lives on a moment-by-moment basis. There's a lot more to this, and I'm going to get into the detailed astrology, the intricacies of the human design, how we're meant to operate come 2027, some practical ways that you can begin to make this transition into this shift of eras with the most grace and ease. And we're also going to be exploring different timelines that might emerge over the next year, because things are going to start shifting very fast. And when we know what that higher timeline is and what it requires of us individually and in our communities to match that, then we have a roadmap for success, a navigation through the uncertainty of what will come during this year. So this workshop, like all my workshops, is pay what you want, and the replays are available. So it's really invited for everyone that hears this, that wants to join, that's interested in these things. And there's really no restrictions in joining, as long as you have a computer connection. And this workshop basically will include 2 parts. So in day 1, I'll be covering the detailed astrology, the human design, the themes behind this. I'll also be looking at potential timelines along with Amber. We've been channeling what these timelines could look like in the future. I'll be discussing how to orient oneself during this time of uncertainty, when many of the systems and spiritual practices and institutions fail to deliver what is needed for a time of great transition. And also, Amber and I have been talking, and there's been a transmission or an activation coming through. And this activation really is to remove the control element that plays on so much of us. So being controlled by external forces. And that can happen through us trying to overly take control of our lives. Those in power that try to control everything, but also us that tries to control everything in our lives. When things are meant to go with a certain flow, certain things are meant to collapse. It also addresses the people pleaser patterns, where we submit to unhealthy control authorities. So this workshop is going to be very, very important for anybody looking to have success over the next year into this monumental shift that is happening in 2027. I truly hope to see you there, and I look forward to really sharing with you all the insights of the astrology, the year of the firehorse, and the coming shift in 2027. Take care.